Hello, everybody. Welcome to Do You Make Music, the Daily Collegian's local music podcast, hosted by me, Hayden Herold. Today, I'm here with trying to think of a good adjective, dark and ethereal, Kross Irwin. Say hi, Kross.
Hello, hello, everybody.
How you doing today, man?
I'm good. I'm tired, but we're here. We're here. Always good time.
I get you. I get you. Let's get an introduction to Kross Irwin. For people who haven't heard any of your music before, how would you describe it to them? What is Kross Irwin as a musical project?
I mean, it's really myself. Like, I don't use like an alias or anything. You know what I mean? Uh, I started off doing kind of like melodic hip hop, you could say. You know what I mean? And probably over like the last year and a half, I kind of switched it a little, trying to like go back to my roots of like kind of more pop, more like indie, more like creative stuff, you know what I mean?
That's how you would describe your current sound, or
Currently I'm in a weird mix of like trying to experiment as much as possible without it like sounding too experimental, if that makes sense. You know what I
hmm,
mean?
I get that. Finding the happy little middle ground.
Yeah, yeah.
So for some people, are there any like artists you could talk about as like reference points for your own work? So like, if someone who hasn't heard your music before, who would you say your music sounds like?
I feel like for my older stuff I got compared to like Mac Miller and Lil Skies a lot. Presently, I don't really know. I've been told the Kid Leroy, but I don't see that, so I honestly have no idea. I feel like I just kind of like mix in random areas, so I don't know. I don't know, honestly.
So rather than how other people describe it, what about yourself? Is there like any particular artist that you want to sound like, or that you try to go for in your work?
I mean, I never really try to go for sound. I kind of just let it happen, just kind of be myself as much as I possibly can, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, you know what I mean?
Mm,
Try to be
mm.
as open as possible. So I don't have like a specific sound that I'm chasing, you know what I mean?
I
Just
get you.
whatever comes. Yeah, yeah.
Mm. So then, really quickly, why don't we talk a little bit about your backstory? Then, how did you get into music? What kind of called you towards that?
I mean, I've always been into music since a kid. Uh, I wanted to like learn all these instruments and stuff and kind of like write my own songs. Uh, Never really had a chance to learn an instrument though. I grew up very poor, so those things didn't come. My parents weren't very musically active. I mean, my dad would kind of write raps in our basement, and I would like come upon him and like read them, be like, "What's he got going on down here?" It was always so random, but over time, my cousin he would make music, and I'd stay at his house in the summer, so I started to kind of pick up on producing and like how to record, like what you do and all that, and just kind of like took it step by step, kind of figuring out how it's all done without having that exposure, you could say. I feel like some people grow up in like a musical environment, so it kind of comes naturally to them, or they have that like guidance, but it's a little different when you gotta kind of find those routes yourself. But yeah, I mean, I hope that makes sense. I kind of get a little off topic, thank you.
No, yeah, that is really interesting. It's a very unique place to come from. I'm curious then, how does that set you apart? Do you think that sets you apart from the people you work with here in State College, or who you also like perform along with?
I mean, a little bit. Like my buddy, Spooky Gloom. Um, he grew up. His dad was very, into the rock star scene. So that kid is He's just crazy with guitar and drums, like it's mind blowing. But it also gives me room to finally like learn the things that I couldn't learn. Like I've been trying to learn guitar. I've been like practicing a bunch of stuff. So I mean it's exciting now. It's getting exciting. But I feel like people definitely not him, but just random local artists kind of see it as like you're not, I guess, like a real musician or like not as good. It comes down to like an ego thing. Like if you're not as good as them with like an instrument or something. I don't know. It's like a really weird like
There's
thing that
pride.
happens. Yeah, yeah. It kind of happens everywhere, not just State College, though. But yeah, yeah.
Have you ever been in any other music scenes outside of State College or like performed outside of the area?
I got a lot of music friends in like Harrisburg and Carlisle, Philly, Lock Haven. Like I haven't. I think I moved to State College probably like 2 years ago now. So, I mean, I've kind of bounced around a lot. I moved around a lot as a kid too, so I kind of met people all over and just, I don't know, just kind of kept the music all over and met new people that did new things. So, yeah,
Do you think that's helped you a pretty decent bit in your current music career, getting to know so many different people from different places?
I think it's given me the ability to kind of see other people's creative process a little more and meet people from different genres of music a lot more. So I think it kind of helps me in the aspect of just, I guess, accepting other genres and other people and what they do or how they do it. So kind of more like an open mind, but like other than that, you know.
I get you. If I may ask, then what is your creative process like then? How do you go about creating the songs that you write for your albums? You know,
Um,
is there a formula, or do things just kind of come to you and they just happen one at a time?
I mean, they usually just come to me. I see what I get going on, like I'll try something and just keep trying it. I prefer to be alone, kind of in a dark room, just like in my own headspace to kind of get as creative as possible. I do like to, work on stuff with other people, but if it's my own projects, my own songs and stuff, then yeah, yeah, I guess just
Hmm.
sitting alone, trying everything out.
Well, then really quickly, what is the process of collaborating others like for you, like producers or other artists on who are putting their own verses on a track? Do you guys kind of just do you work together in the same room, or are you kind of like shooting each other texts and emails with snippets and making things go together like that?
Depending on who it is and where they're from, usually, we'll come to my area or, we'll go somewhere like a studio, rent a studio out or something and just kind of see what we come up with. But probably like 7 out of 10 times, it's usually like they send me an open or something they started and they want me to get on it, like put a feature on or like add some elements to it, like production wise. So kind of varies on the situation, really. So it's always different. It's never like one set in stone way.
Gotcha. On that note, I'd like to maybe talk a little bit about your most recent album here that I have pulled up, "The Boy Who Died But Had No Funeral," that was released last year. Do you want to tell us a little bit about just about that album in general?
It's really just me trying to experiment, like I said, do a little more and kind of grow a little more in different areas. Like I tried a lot of different things in that album, and it's kind of like the concept of, we get older and we try to grow and adapt. So it's kind of like the little boy dying in me in a way, as dark as it sounds, but kind of like moving on from that to kind of grow up and try new stuff and learn new stuff. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I do get that. So I imagine that was, did that have an influence on both the lyrics of the album and the music side, or mostly just the lyrics themselves?
It was kind of both. I'd say both, a little equally.
Hmm. And since this is a question I really like asking artists with albums, was there a did you put a lot of thought behind like the order of the tracks on the album, or was that just kind of like a, this feels decent. Let's make it like this.
So I used to worry about that, and this time it was kind of like me just seeing if one flowed after the other. The only track I usually worry about is the intro. Like every intro song on my projects, I try to make as unique and, different as possible. So I want that one to be the first one all the time. If it's like the weirdest one I did per se, you know what I mean?
I'm curious then, when it comes to these intros, how much of an issue, or like not an issue, but I guess a component is perfectionism for you? Because I know I talk to a lot of artists, and there's very much that like inner struggle between, all right, we got to get this out at some point at some time, but I also want this to be as close to like my vision as it has to be. How does that go for you?
I'm a perfectionist. It's a problem. Like if I feel like if every detail isn't right, it drives me insane. So it's a big factor. It definitely hinders me a little bit, but I always love the end result, so feels worth it in the end, but it is a process. It is stressful. It's very very stressful, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
Hmm. Hmm. I saw more recently actually here. So jumping from the music side to the performance side, I saw recently that you performed a show here. I think just last week, I believe. How was that for you? What are your performances kind of like? Because I haven't gotten a chance to see you live as of yet.
Um, I feel like it's always different. Sometimes I'm like very energetic. Sometimes I'm just kind of trying to focus on voice control. This past show, I was a little sick, and then I just kind of knew like my voice and it just everything wasn't gonna work well, and it ended up being more of like a kind of like a mosh and a rage show. So I mean, it worked out in our favor. I didn't have to try to balance my voice so much, but uh, yeah, it kind of varies. It's always different. One thing we're definitely trying to do is incorporate more live instruments, which is it's a big thing for me because I've never played in a band or anything.
Hmm.
Uh, so it's definitely a learning process, but I'm really excited. Um, it's definitely pushing pushing the limit for me and trying something new, but it is something that we're working on and that we're trying to incorporate more. So, I mean, that's exciting, but other than that, yeah.
Hmm. I'm curious, how do you go about memorizing the lyrics to your own songs? Because I've had to perform songs in the past before, and sometimes it's just really tough to get like the lyrics down and like the patterns and the way that you sing them out. So I'm curious, what is that like for you? Not just as someone who's singing like singing out their lyrics and rapping their lyrics, but also like their own work.
I'm probably my biggest fan. I feel like you kind of have to be, as annoying as their own voice and own music probably gets to you. Um, I try to listen constantly just so that doesn't happen, I guess. I usually don't have a problem with that part, but there's been times where I was like, oh, wow, like I said the wrong thing, but like made it work somehow. So like it's whatever. We'll just, kind of skip past it. But yeah, it's usually the least of my worries.
I get you. No, yeah, at a certain point, I guess also working on the songs themselves gives you plenty of time to familiarize yourself, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely, definitely. I hear the same thing like 1,000 times, like as I mix it, so it gets pretty embedded in my brain.
Alrighty. Well, before we go into our talk about what you got going on for the future, I want to get into our one of my favorite segments of this show, and that is not our hardball questions, not our curveball questions. Here are our gutterball questions, straight from the Instagram.
Oh
This is
God.
where I ask my followers on the public profile, Ayden's portfolio, for some just the best quality questions around available, and we just sock them to you, you know. So do prepare yourself.
All right.
So here we go. Ooh, okay. I've I actually forgot. We got some pretty good ones that I wrote down here. We got a good crop this time, or at least a. Anyway, here's our first one for you. If you had to start making music again, but in a new genre, what would you pick?
Wow, that is a good question. I don't know. I feel like maybe like rock, because I feel like all of my family loves rock, and like I said, I didn't really early on try to learn instruments and like learn how rock music is really made and whatnot. So if I could go back, I'd probably start there, honestly.
Would you have like tried to learn guitar or drums?
Yeah, yeah. Like right now, I got two guitars that I'm learning. One was just given to me, actually, by a old coworker, so that was pretty cool. And then I bought a different one. But yeah, I mean it's been a fun process learning. It's like a whole new world for me, so it's really cool.
You're already thinking of like ways to put it into your music?
Oh yeah, 100%, yeah.
Nice, nice. Oh, this next one is very appropriate for the day, since we're recording on on February 14th here. Best Valentine's Day gift.
Honestly, I don't even know what all I've gotten. My girlfriend now just ordered me two Obey shirts for Valentine's Day, and I'm a big Obey brand fan. So, I mean, off the top, that's probably like as good as you can do. Because other than that, I can't really remember what she got me last year. But I don't want, I don't want to sound bad. I just can't remember.
I get you, I get you. Yeah, it's personal and you can wear it, you know. It's
Yeah, yeah.
last a while. I'm trying to think here. Okay. Okay, this next one should be interesting. Last book that you read.
Probably The Alchemist. I just kind of scroll through time to time again. I don't usually read too much. Like I like to, but physical books like stress me out because I have so much stuff going on. So I occasionally like get something on Apple's like Books app and then kind of go through there. But I do have a physical copy of The Alchemist that I feel like it's such a common book that like people tell you to read. So one day I was like, you know, what I mean, try it out. But yeah, very good, very good.
What's that one about?
Um, to this day, I really have no idea. I really have no idea. Somebody's probably gonna flame me for this, but again, I don't really, I don't really read physical books or any book for that matter. Like, I like to skim through them. I enjoy reading things, but I don't know. Reading's never been my strong suit. So if you're gonna flame me for this, just just saying, don't do that. Don't do that.
Hey, I get you. I get you. It's a struggle. I love reading and it's still a it's still a struggle even for me sometimes. So I get you. I get you.
I'm not a
It's
bad reader. Like I don't know. I just it gets boring for me. I don't know. That sounds horrible to say. I feel like reading is a good thing to do. I'm definitely not knocking it, but me personally, it's not for me. So,
I get you. No, I love it. I know it's good for me, but you know, sometimes when I try to make that time, I'm like before I like get into it. it feels like, oh man, what could I be doing right now? I could be being doing something more productive or enjoying something that's
Yeah,
like more exciting. But then I get into it and I'm like, oh shoot, that's right. I love
yeah,
I
yeah.
love reading. Why don't you tell us what do you got planned for the future? Are you going to be doing more live shows? Do you got another album in the works? Maybe just some singles? What are we looking at?
Uh, so really, like I said, like my main goal right now is, expanding my music knowledge as a whole, just kind of all over from uh, playing instruments to learning different like mixing techniques and production techniques, and just kind of redoing everything, not from the start, but trying to learn a lot of new things. So, hopefully in the future, I'm playing more live shows with more live instruments, doing things a little different, trying to make things a little more interesting. Uh, Music wise, I don't really have a planned album at the moment. Me and Spooky Gloom, my buddy, we've been discussing a collaboration album that's kind of in the works. We're like maybe like 10% into it right now. Other than that, like I got goals for music, but I have no specific goal. Like I know I want to make stuff and how I want to do it. I just don't know what specifically yet. You know what I mean?
Hmm. No, I get that. I totally get that. If I may ask, are you producing for any artists right now?
I've produced for a couple now. Most notably my boy North Grimm. Uh, he's kind of fresh out right now, so I'm trying to help him, figure out some stuff and get some music out there. Uh, yeah, yeah. It's a process. It's a process, but we're working. We're working.
I got you. I got you. Before we wrap, then, are there any shout outs you want to give to any people who you're working with now or have worked with before? Or any
Um,
inspirations? I don't know.
I mean, shout out you for having me on here. I'd say we're working together right now.
Too
Um,
kind, too kind.
Spooky, that's like brother I never had. I mean, we kind of argue like brothers, but I mean, that's how it goes. You know what I mean? Uh, I got a bunch of people that I just performed with. I won't say all the names specifically. They know who they are. Uh, and I mean, just like that. I mean, it's all the same people that I'm usually around already. So they know I got endless love for them. And yeah, yeah. I'll slap them if they want me to say their name. They'll probably be like, "Should say my name." I'm not gonna say their name, but they know who they are. It's a lot of names, you know.
I get you. I get you. It takes a village.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Is there anything else you just want to add before we wrap up? Then anything about yourself or your music or anything in general?
Uh, I mean, not really. I will say, anyone watching, anyone listening, um, doesn't matter where you're at, where you start. Anything's really possible. I mean, I kind of look back now on a lot, and I think it's cool to do random stuff like this and, talk about like music in general, even if it's not my own. I was a kid who started with nothing, no direction, no knowledge, and you just gotta put the work in and try. And, if you don't try, there's really no point. You never know if it's for you or not until you do. So, yeah, yeah.
Very
I'm a
true.
very positive and loving man. So I like to see people succeed and, remind them that, you know, work work is terrible. It sucks. It's work. Nobody likes working, but it's also the best part about music is, learning and trying new stuff. So keep trying, keep working. Yeah.
Very true. Very true. And then finally, for our audiences who are listening, where can they find your music?
Uh, Anywhere that you stream, Apple, Spotify, Tidal, YouTube. SoundCloud, I'm a little late to. I just don't really use it. I feel like it's kind of a dying app these days, but I could be wrong. I just don't use it. Kross Irwin, Kross, like cross but with a K, and then Irwin, like Steve Irwin, like the Alligator Man, but we have no relation. But Irwin, as in IRWIN. If you want to follow me on all socials or any social, same thing, Kross Irwin. And yeah, yeah.
Very cool, very cool. Then I'll take us out.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, everybody, for listening. All y'all, I hope you have this is going to be dropped after Valentine's Day, but I hope you're having a good Valentine's Day. Take care of yourselves. Have a good morning, good evening, or good night. And we'll see you next time. If you are an artist who wants to apply to be on the show, or you know an artist who would maybe want to be on the show, check out my Instagram at Ayden's Portfolio, AYDENS Portfolio. You can find all the important links in my bio. Um, Thank you so much again, and have a good one. Cross, you want to say bye?
See you, everybody. Have a fantastic day, night, Valentine's Day if you're seeing this late. So, yeah.
Ciao.
See ya.